So this is cryptography. So that's kind of a huge discovery, public key cryptography from the 1970s. And this allows us to kind of the internet to exist securely, right? So if you have Amazon on this side, somebody can shop at Amazon without actually having met Amazon before. So Amazon creates these two keys, a secret key and a public key. He releases the public key to everyone, and anyone can shop there, and the adversary in the middle who has the same key as everyone else, except Amazon, is powerless to stop, to do anything insecure, to recover the key or to look at your credit card number. So this really has been an amazing invention, 1970s. There's no reason something like this should exist, this asymmetric cryptography, but it does. But unfortunately, if somebody builds a quantum computer, as we found out, then actually all these methods that we know that we were using in the 1970s and that are still used now become actually insecure, because with a quantum computer, the adversary can actually recover the secret key. So this is a problem that people have been aware of for a while, but only now I think it's become really important because quantum computers are really being developed, and they're kind of gone from the laboratory, maybe not even from the laboratory, from just papers to the laboratory. So now people think it's an engineering problem as to when we'll actually build this computer. So, these are if you know anything about cryptography, you don't have to, it's okay. I mean, it's based on some mathematical problems. So like factoring is hard. I can multiply two numbers, that's easy to do, but to figure out which two numbers I multiplied, that's hard. But it turns out for quantum computers, it's easy. And it's somewhat unlucky because quantum computers can't do too much, but they can do this. So somehow they can break all these problems with structure. And these are problems from mathematics, from number theory, and they all become broken once a quantum computer is built. So this was known since '96. So even though we don't have a quantum computer, we know how it works, how it will work, and an algorithm for it was written already. So there's no quantum computer that we know of, and one probably won't exist for a while. But so who cares? Well, the problem is, and this is what people call harvest and decrypt, is that quantum computers will recover all of today's secrets. So it's kind of obvious that if somebody thinks you're transmitting something important, they will just store it. They can't do anything with it, but maybe with a quantum computer, in the future, they will recover your data. So I don't care if my credit card number gets stolen 15 years from now, but maybe some national secrets you do care about. So what's going on actually now in the world, and this is actually happening already, if you haven't been following the cryptography space, kind of the mathematics of its space, this is actually actively happening. People are migrating all their internet security to not use the algorithm, these algorithms that I showed in the slides before, the factoring-based algorithms, but actually using a different mathematical assumption. So it's something that we believe a quantum computer cannot solve either. And this turns out to be quite a difficult problem because cryptography is everywhere, and yet people don't know where it is. So we all know that somehow we hope our phone communication is secure, but actually where is the cryptography? People have a hard time finding it. So actually replacing it is quite difficult. Just because people were not very careful when they were putting it in. I guess about 7 or 8 years ago, standardization of quantum safe cryptography started. So this started with the National Security Agency. All of a sudden, they said in 2015, they said quantum computers are going to be a problem. US government must start using quantum safe crypto. Of course, there was no standardized quantum safe crypto because the US government can only use something that's standardized. So then the National Institute of Standards kind of had to step in and say, okay, well, the NSA said we need standards for quantum safe crypto, so now we have to create standards for quantum safe crypto. And the way the NIST works is they always have a worldwide competition. It's very popular. Usually it gets a lot of entrants, a lot of cryptanalysts, so it's very good to kind of check the algorithms, get all the algorithms in there. And so this competition lasted for 6 years, and they finally, in 2022, they declared some winners. There's one encryption algorithm and some digital signature algorithms. And the goal is by 2024, standards will be written and schemes deployed. So doesn't matter, but if you see these names, these are the names of the encryption schemes and signature schemes, and they're based on this new mathematical thing. So before we were multiplying numbers, now these are geometrical or combinatorial lattice problems. So this is the new math that's being used in quantum safe cryptography. So personally, I was kind of involved in 3 of these. The last one is based on something else. This is kind of a slide I have to use since I work at IBM and we're building quantum computers. So when will a quantum computer break today's cryptography? Unfortunately, the answer is no one knows, but there is some roadmap that there is for building a quantum computer. So I guess the transistors, this is what we count on a chip is what we count on for classical computers, but qubits is what we count on for quantum computers. So kind of every year or so, IBM promises to double or quadruple or something like that number of qubits. And so far they've been hitting it, but then at some point you have to solve some mathematical, some engineering problem, and there seems to be stuck there, but we'll see, right? But so far, the progress is being made. People are equating this to maybe 1950s when the transistor kind of came into being, and eventually we had computers. So people are hoping eventually we'll have quantum computers. And then, of course, the NSA said we don't care when the quantum computer will be built because there is some probability of something, so we're going to have to make this transition. So actually, by 2033, all of computer security in the US has to be quantum safe. So it has to be based on those algorithms that I kind of described earlier. So even if there is no quantum computer, if you want to do anything with the US government, you need to be quantum safe. You want to sell something to the US government, some IT-related stuff, it has to use those algorithms. So, and this is a huge, again, this is a huge thing because now there's a presidential order in the US and billions of dollars are being poured into this transition that, they said, okay, now we have to do post-quantum cryptography, now it's a law, whatever. Now a lot of companies are kind of fighting for this money because it's a huge thing. Now, of course, if the theme of this conference is a bit reconstruction or, how do you kind of build up something, build up Ukraine? Well, the point is it would be nice to kind of start already correctly. So just something to keep, this is not very useful right now, but, in a couple of years when the rebuilding happens, maybe it's good to keep in mind, let's actually rebuild correctly so we don't rebuild incorrectly and then have to go through this transition, which is very costly and expensive and kind of waste a lot of people's time. And of course, there's a lot more cryptography that exists just beyond the basics with internet security. Like, for example, a blockchain really, whether you believe in the hype or not, what it does is that it creates transparency. So you can actually know everything that's happening. That's what a blockchain is. It allows everyone to see what exactly is going on and to be sure that it's kind of correctly happening. But the problem there is that with transparency comes loss of privacy because now everyone sees everything. So that's why cryptography is very naturally used in blockchain. And so, for example, something that is almost like blockchain, except maybe the philosophy is completely different, but the technology is exactly the same, is central bank digital currency, right? So you have transparent transactions, which is blockchain, and then you have privacy and security, which uses advanced cryptography. So the only difference with blockchain is that in Bitcoin, everyone kind of prints their own money, whereas in a central bank digital currency, the government prints the money, but everyone sees exactly what's going on and everyone has exactly the privacy that kind of they vote to have when they build this system, right? So this is a huge thing. So China already has something like this. France is a late stage experimentation. Digital euros on the horizon. Sweden, Estonia, I don't know. I mean, they've been digitized for like 20 years now, so they're probably using it. And this is something that's going to happen, and we're not going to have paper money in the future. It seems a bit absurd. And this is a great use of cryptography and the blockchain thing. So it's really an exciting topic, I think. And I think it'll be mature in a decade. And if something's going to be mature in a decade about when quantum computers may come about, maybe that should already be built quantum safe. So this is kind of the theme here. If you're going to be building new systems and you're going to put cryptography in it, maybe you should be at least in the back of your mind thinking, we're going to have to replace it with quantum safe pretty soon, so why don't we just do it now, okay? So, so the conclusions, just the last slide, is that the transition to quantum safe cryptography is already happening now. Like I said, the US government is mandating quantum safe crypto. Europe is also following suit. And there's lots of opportunities for IT companies and people to kind of help with the transition. And also, you know, you want to, when rebuilding or you're building something new, you should make sure the new things are quantum safe, or at least allow for a very easy transition, because really, the unfortunate problem we have now is this human-created problem that it's very hard to know where the cryptography is using, because no one really cares about security. It's just something you have in there, and you don't think about it until something goes wrong, and then you kind of have to figure out where it is. And then the second thing is that, is that central bank digital currency, I think, will be a very big application of blockchain and cryptographic privacy. And there's lots of opportunities as well. So even if even if it's the central banks that will be controlling maybe the printing of the money, the whole ecosystem will still be comprised of small enterprises and stuff like that. So it's another big thing that I think will be coming out of this cryptography, security, quantum safe space in the future.
Very cool. Thanks, Vadim. Maybe a couple of questions. If you may sit, or I stand.
It's a long question. Okay.
Okay. Let's sit down. So the first question is, it's kind of repetition. So what you mean is that the all encrypted communication right now, using the conventional methods, can be stored and decrypted in the future for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Correct. And the new way to combat that is, instead of multiplication of keys, to use another mathematical formula, a simplified way, right?
Exactly.
What would be I mean, the sessions can be a bit technical, but it's kind of important because encryption's everywhere. What is the performance impact of this? I mean, the new formula is kind of more complicated, so probably there's performance impact on that, no?
So the impact is that the keys are going to be longer. So you're going to be transmitting more data, but actually the operations are much more efficient. So it actually is more efficient than today's cryptography, which was invented 40 years ago. So speed-wise, it's better. Communication-wise, it's worse. But I mean, people have done experiments, and they said kind of nothing will go wrong with the basic stuff. So you just have to migrate, and that's it.
Cool. So now we have the situation where traditional encryption is being decrypted easily by the new quantum computer technology. We can put it in abstract. Is there a new computing technology on the horizon that's going to crack the quantum safe standards?
Well, I mean, quantum is I wouldn't even call it a new technology that's evolutionary, right? This is a completely revolutionary way kind of that we discovered the universe works, right? So if you're asking, is there something on the horizon that will change the way we view the universe? I don't know, right? I mean, once we have time travel, cryptography is going to be in trouble again, right? Because I will just go back to when you created the secret key. But this is not something one should worry about, because again, this is just a transformative thing in. We can have aliens land and they will tell us something new, right? This is what quantum is, right? It's almost like an alien landing event and saying, actually, the way you think about existence is wrong. It's actually this, so.
Yeah, cool. Really cool stuff. I hope you enjoyed it, and also it's really pity that we couldn't attach the session before, because the question to, for example, Alex Bornyakov, the Deputy Minister of Digital Transformation, would be, did they implement into DIA this quantum safe encryption? Probably not. Or do they think in this direction at all?
They probably wouldn't say, right? This is a question I always ask myself, like, did the NSA already do something beforehand? Because, if in 2015 they think already a quantum computer may be coming not too far from now, and they do care about their secrets from that time being decrypted in 30 years even. I mean, there could be some very sensitive information. Are they using something, because they're obviously more they're the ideal customer for this quantum safe crypto, right? They don't want their secrets leaked even 40 years from now. And other governments are the same way. Like, could they be already using it without letting people know? It's quite possible, right?
Thanks a lot. Maybe for private question, catch up with Vadim after the session. And we're gonna thank Vadim for his presentation and the time. And with this, I would like to announce the start of the next session, which will be on the AI. Is it a life changer or a real danger? I invite our speakers to the stage, Elena, Ihor, Maxim, Katerina, we will have online, and Karsten, of course. And we would need 3 more mics, please. This is the session of today's IT Corner, which considered to be, was planned actually to be the most entertaining and the hypey. Let's see what we're gonna do with that. It all depends on you, actually, on our expert. And I would like to start with this opening, which you hear actually in the media quite a lot. All the questions to this session was written by ChatGPT. No, it's a joke, of course, but raise a hand who used ChatGPT. Who used any other sorts of generative AI, Stable Diffusion, whatever? Yeah. So it's a reality. It's already in our lives. And what to do with it? Why did we suddenly realize that it's there? Was it really sudden appearance or not? And some other questions we're going to discuss now in this panel. But I would like to open with the presentation round, where each of the experts will have some time to present himself, his expertise. The majority, I believe, have the slides, so we will attach to that. Please tell briefly about yourself and present your slides. I think, Karsten, you're the first one in the row.
Yeah, thanks, Evgen. I think the question was raised, AI, life changer, real danger. The first thing what I thought about is Niels Bohr, which obviously said it's difficult to make prediction, especially about the future. And I think in terms of technology, that's even more true than in any other area. If you look on our very bad predictions we had in the past about technology involvement, for example, quickly after the personal computer was developed, the IBM CEO said there will be maximum 2 personal computers be sold to the market. After the internet, maybe you remember, as it was developed, there was a very big kind of optimism between all the nerds, including myself, that this will be free speech for everyone. We will have a diversity of different opinions. We will have all these forums. Everything will be cool, and the complete world will be freed up from dictatorship and everything. It was really what we were thinking at this time. Also, I think 90% of the people, I don't know what you think, but at this time, that was our vision. And where it can come to, now we have a dopamine junkies looking on Facebook, and basically all the kids go to different 2 directions, or like left, right. There's not much diversity in between. So I think it's became quite differently than we initially thought of. The same is with cars, obviously. First, this was thought very slowly progress. It's turned out to be an exponential growth, so the horses went away quite more quickly than thought. So if you see that, then what's funny on that as well is it's not even remotely true, also a little bit true, what was predicted in the beginning. So it's totally wrong. So, and that, I think, is, for me, a disclaimer before we go to these questions. So we should be kind of not too proud about our opinion, because probably it will be very hard to predict it. And what I try to approach this topic now, maybe it's a bit uncommon, but I try to do like, okay, if in the past we often was very wrong, let's think about ideas which we think at the moment is unlikely, but maybe in the end is a reality. It's like a counterintuitive approach. And what I see at the moment is we have, I see mainly 3 hypotheses what most of the people in the press discussing. So basically, one is productivity boost. We all lying on the beach in Caribbean because AI will do all the work for us. That's kind of the Silicon Valley CEO speak, and we're having a fantastic time. Then the other one is AI destroys all the authenticity, democracy, and so on, because everything is created by robots, and we don't know if a politician is a politician, we don't know if a book is from someone as a person, we just don't know anything. And then I think the last one is that we have a superior AI. We are the most celebrated animals in the zoo, and the AI is looking on us and find it very funny to look at the humans. So I think that's kind of what I see as main thesis. And I try, just give some examples how it can be completely different. And I think it's not so much discussed. But I welcome everybody to have other ideas as well. So just to make a bigger brainstorming here. So one thing could be, we have a superhuman AI, and the superhuman AI decides that Darwinism is a very bad idea. So basically, there is no species like a superhuman species which should destroy all the rest of it, how Darwin kind of defined it. But they say, okay, let's work together. We need to think about if the AI is the difference between us and the AI is like we are a cockroach and the AI is like a bird, then how can a cockroach predict the movement of a bird? So we need to be a little bit kind of cautious with the predictions. So it could be that all the things we think are kind of make sense in biology doesn't make sense for this AI anymore. Then I don't see, at least, happy to discuss, I don't see anyone having a proof that actually it's possible to build a superhuman AI on silicon. Maybe we need quantum computers for that. Or maybe we need some technology we never have.
Maybe quantum computing can help.
Yeah, so we currently are very optimistic, but maybe it doesn't work. And then I think we have also things like, pyramids was built 200 years later, nobody knows how to build it anymore. So now we see it now, we have a lot of kind of crisis. Maybe forget about the AI technology and just forget about to build it, yeah? This could be awesome. Or we have another very positive scenarios. It could be that AI counterweights all the negative things on humans. Maybe AI allows us to live forever. Maybe it finds all people who want to do bad things in advance because it knows what those people are doing. And maybe that's one reality which can happen. Or I think one thing is also, which is very interesting, I think very interesting for me, is one of the biggest interesting for the humankind is that we have a combination of AI and our human body. I think that's, for me, is like what sounds for me the most interesting idea we could come to, so that we enhance ourselves with first with an iPhone and then later with an AI. I think that's something for me sounds somehow positive, more positive than to getting in a zoo. Maybe quickly from my side, I founded a company for the fintech area. We're using obviously AI for this big ship on the ocean. They have a lot of documents on it, which are very old dated documents, and we selecting all these informations and checking if the documents are compliant or not, and the credit can be financed. So that's my background.
Thank you, Carsten. Quite unexpectedly, really right away, really philosophical and futuristic approach to the question. Let's see if other experts have the other approach. Ihor, is it your turn now? Yeah, exactly.
Hi, everybody. My name is Igor Izraelevich. I'm from the engineering field. I run a software engineering firm for the last 9 years. Yeah, let's probably... So definitely we run a software engineering firm, and the AI is one of our service lines. That's why, from this perspective, being an engineer, I have quite practical, let's say thoughts on using AI and machine learning in our life. I think if this discussion about like AI would take 10 years ago, if we will just remember how that was about 10 years ago, like you would see which a huge step we did over the 10 years. So 10 years ago when discussion was happening, nobody was understanding like why and how mathematics is related actually to real business or how it's related to even programming. So that's the memories which I have like 10 years ago. And today you might see I took some numbers here how people are thinking about the AI today. So, for example, this number at the bottom on the right, like says that 40% of people doesn't really care if they speak with artificial intelligence in the chat or with a human. And this is a huge progress, I think, for us as a people, which we did towards of using an AI in our lives. Yeah, this is one of the trends which I personally believe is quite useful today, especially for businesses, is something which is assistant for employees, which where you as employee are using your AI in daily life, and this helps you, giving you some insights and helps you to give you some productivity in your daily work. And if let's say business would innovate in that way, and this would be let's say more widely used, I would say would be more efficient in our businesses. Yeah, so again, so I brought this some numbers for this discussion. 25% of the business owners believe that AI would impact the business, and this is today. So again, if we will compare these numbers to the discussion 10 years ago, I would say this number would be just not even zero. This would be like unknown, like nobody would give an answer on that. So I think, so like my statement is that businesses love AI. Definitely, like there is a discussion around should we protect ourselves, and so how better to use this and not damage the environment and the lives of people. And there is actually also one interesting discussion going on in US right now. So there would be the OpenAI CEO would be given would be going to Senate of the United States and giving the statements on data usage on the platform.
And
so,
as we know, if someone is called to Senate, like the
Yeah.
Mark Zuckerberg, that probably he's in trouble.
so
not.
we will see. Yeah. So,
We will see, yeah.
So it would be interesting. Yeah. Yeah. So this is just more number which for the discussion. The fields where AI is used today, the knowledge management is I think this is quite very efficient, especially with the recent hype with OpenAI. So handling the knowledge management inside of organization is easier, much easier if you can just pull the data together and then ask a question, and you will get the information faster. There is like a lot of solutions already around that. Virtual assistant, which I told, and yeah, autonomous vehicles. This is like probably like well known. Digital workforce, crowdsourced data, and others. Yeah, so that's it. Yeah, so from my topic. Yeah.
Thank you, Igor. Yeah, another industry representative. I think the turn now for Maxim exactly to present himself.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
You can do it. You can do it.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. So good evening already. Yeah. I hope everyone is alive and you had a nice party yesterday. So yeah, I was more easy on the presentation. So like I don't know, guys presenting that good and that big presentations. So.
So you did it actually. Huh?
I made it really easy, so I just moved like to the topic and to the ChatGPT and asked like what his thoughts like on the like if like AI actually is life changer or a real danger, and I think we can all together discuss and think about it because it's actually a great topic, and I would like to talk about it a little bit more between our panel because One thing's like everyone right now speaking about AI, but how it actually can be used in the world. So we see different cases right now. 2 words about my company. My company doing the software development, like it's a outsourcing software development company, and we have some areas we focused on. But right now we see the increased demand of products. Building products around ChatGPT, OpenAI, and all these features. So actually, originally, I'm following personally OpenAI and company and their successes since 2016, and we're soon launching our internal product we're building. And originally, we had a strategy to integrate it with GPT-3, and then ChatGPT. No one like ever like mentioned GPT before ChatGPT. So, but I'm following this for years already, and now it's became a boom. And oh my gosh, we're late. We need to keep up. So, if speaking about AI, yeah. So there's a long conversation, and I think we can continue after this, but. I had a nice conversation with ChatGPT this morning, like every morning. So, and I asked like the main thing was like, the main question what I had today. It's like life changer or real danger. And actually, AI see the 4 main topics and 4 main industries areas where we can innovate with AI. And first of all is, of course, productivity and efficiency. I don't know how many of you continuously using a ChatGPT in your work already? Any of you?
Please, raise your hand.
Because actually I met one interesting guy in Poland who already integrated the ChatGPT into his iPhone. There is actually an option integrate in your iPhone some kind of shortcuts, and he can click on whatever he wants in his iPhone, and he has a shortcut with OpenAI, and like ChatGPT like responding to whatever he clicks. So, and I think this actually like with every technology, a lot of people like adopt it while it's hot, play with it and then forget about it and come back to it only when you can make some money there or something. But productivity and efficiency is very cool. We're already integrating OpenAI for version into our internal products, and we plan to integrate it to our Slack to have a like kind of how it's called water cooler chat, where people sending some memes or discussing something, and once per 30 minutes ChatGPT also like join the conversation. So I don't know how it helps with productivity, but at least we integrate it. So healthcare advancements actually is one of like main things I think we need AI in, because I have a personal case where I think we don't have the preventive medicine very good developed in the world. So I hope AI might fix this problem, because when I was coming to doctors and so I had a high insulin, so it was almost like pre-diabetes stage, and I was coming to doctors and saying, hey, I have some symptoms of like diabetes, I don't feel really well. So, and they say, okay, you go and do blood analysis. I did blood analysis, coming to them and say, you don't have the diabetes yet. Yeah, I'm saying, but it's kind of coming. And say, but not right now. So I think like with AI, we don't have this problem. They can upfront detect all the problems, and I think we don't need to wait people to learn 8 years the information and the study in the university while we can ask about AI. So another thing is like education, personalized learning. I think I already met a lot of people who told me they are reading books with ChatGPT. So they just ask ChatGPT about some specific books and getting main insights. And yesterday I met a really great guy, Sergey, and he wrote a book where he took like ideas from like 100 different books about productivity and just put them in one book. And it's so great because I hate reading long books when there's a lot of water, but you want to get some specific insights. So this is really good. And ChatGPT, like an AI overall, can help us to learn and educate more faster. So, and Environmental impact, I'm not very professional in this specific area.
We're gonna come to that. So it's basically more or less my questions for this
Yeah,
panel.
cool.
So let's not spoil too much.
But it was pretty insane, like how I use ChatGPT. I copied all the information about all our employees when they came to the company, when they were leaving the company. Just Control C, Control V, like the Excel spreadsheet that's sent to ChatGPT, and he provided me insights like like McKinsey level. So he's like, okay, you have so many engineers in your company, but it looks like you're a service company, but you're you're doing service business. But at the same time, your sales department looks too small for serving that amount of like engineers you have. And I was like, oh my gosh. So, and the real danger, I would say, I see if you don't mind. So, in terms of real danger, like job displacement, I don't know if this is a real danger. Do we have like big unemployment because of internet right now?
We're gonna come to that. It's a specific topic we want to touch.
Yeah, so the privacy concerns, I'm not sure. So we do have, because it's right now it's super fresh and new, like, and people uploading to ChatGPT the secret data, like me, about the company.
If you're gonna feed ChatGPT with HR data, it's not gonna turn out good, I think.
Bias and inequality. So I'm not sure about this, but when the data is not correct, which is given to AI, he makes like the different, like not clear predictions. But I think it's all could be governed on the government level, and I hope we can speak about it more.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think point 3 and 4 they come together, and
Yeah.
it comes down to the regulation. I think we're gonna discuss.
But the
that.
problem number 4 is very interesting, because this is the problem of trust. When you ask the consultant, like you go to financial tax consultant, and he's saying you some shit, yeah. So and you get fined in 2 years. So what about what about OpenAI or whatever, like general AI? Yeah. So how we know he gives us the proper information? Like, so what's happening in the black box? How to double check the AI he's giving the right answer? So this is the question. And of course, like everyone's saying about autonomous weapons and warfare. So I think also it's a government question, not to AI specifically.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you. Really good points brought up by ChatGPT, but this session is moderated still by a human. And with that, I
you
give
sure?
the word. We can test it maybe afterwards, but with that being said, I give the word to Olena, please.
Hello, everyone. I really honored to be here, and let me introduce myself. I am a philosopher. I am a researcher in Bern University of Applied Sciences. And it's a little bit strange situation because I am a philosopher who works in the laboratory of robotics and virtual reality. And when people asked me what actually philosophy could do in collaboration with the IT specialist, I was joking that I am a spy, but honestly speaking, I was a bad spy because I couldn't understand clear what my colleagues do. And when I tried to put some questions to them according to their activities, they were confused and couldn't understand what was the reason of my questioning. But I strongly believe that complicated and complex problem of nowadays requires diversity team for solution. And I'm really happy that this even happens now, and we are able to discuss such important problems. Okay, I guess we may go forward. And I would like to represent to you a brief systematic review about current threats of artificial intelligence and different groups of such possibilities that could possibly harm humans in development of these technologies. For first, of course, is psychological threats and challenges. And first argument, first threat, it could be losing of human identity. It means that we are human used to jokes, used to be creative, used to improvise, and so on. But when we have a deal with technology, technology. Technology is a pure rationality, and if you will improvise with collaboration with robot, it could be danger for your health and mental and physical health. And if you will joke in social media about terrorist attack, and some policy servers will monitor in social media, you will have probably really obvious negative consequences of such kind joking. So losing identity means that humans are able to lose some originality of our nature in collaborating with artificial intelligence technologies. Next threat and next danger in this case is anthropologism. It means that we are humans and we always used to perceive reality, analyze reality, measure reality according to our own focus of perception. That's why when someone predicts that artificial intelligence will receive the whole power of the world and put humans to the zoo, my colleagues, IT specialists, really laugh at it because they are arguing not artificial but augmented intelligence. And it means that the power of decision making should be always in human hands, not put it into the code and algorithm. Next step is alienation, and it means that if some one of you use telephone, use Google Maps, use Google Translator, you are a cyborgs now. And a very famous book of Catherine Hayles, When We Became a Post-Humans, admit that actually our human abilities are enhanced so much, so we are cyborgs now because technologies goes into our nature, and I don't know how, what do you think about it, but I often, when I forget my telephone at home, really sorry that steel chip didn't involved into my brain and I couldn't be effective as it needed in my work if I have no telephone in my hands. And the next point, emotional involvement. Of course, technology is a pure rationality, and when we are speaking about artificial intelligence, how Yudkowsky told about it, artificial intelligence not evil, not kind, but if atoms of your body will be needed for some other more important reasons, we'll be ready that artificial intelligence will make a solution to use these atoms. Not because it's evil, but because it will be more rational way for such kind problem solving. Next slide, please. Our next group of challenges is social context, and we could be humans only in one way if we collaborate with each other. And development of artificial intelligence could be really dangerous for our ability to be effective in communication. I would like to remember in this case Christiakis experiments. I guess all of you know when person separate, our level of moral obligations are high, and when we are a part of the crowd, we could be easily much more aggressive and so on. And actually, many philosophers are worried that technology of artificial intelligence could provoke hate speech in different communication, in different discourse, in different communities. And it could be very harmful for our ability to combine our activities and solving problem. Actually, how Judith mentioned that this technology of artificial intelligence gives to us so much power and so much and quickly questions, answers to our questions that we don't need to collaborate and to communicate with each other. Next problem, human replacement, and we will discuss this question, of course. I would like to say from my point that I guess 20 years ago, it was prognosis that more than 15% of job will be replaced by robots and different kind of automatization, but it didn't happen. Why? Because of the reason of Polanyi paradox. It means that we could put into the algorithm just the part of our knowledge, and our background knowledge or not obvious knowledge couldn't be implemented into the algorithm. In another case, when we are swimming or go on bicycle, it's not so easy to put step by step how we do one or another action. And as we see now, even on Amazon, not so much different position are replaced by robotics. Next street is new social elite. And you know, as a philosopher, I'm a little bit afraid that IT specialists could came to agree that they don't need philosophers at all, and that they have a lot of power and knowledge, and to just make some kind of digital dictatorship and so on. So I have some
That sounds
conflict
nice,
in
yeah.
this case. And many humanitarian close to my vision too. Next argument, de-skilling or empowerment. It means that we have to study, we have to continue learning the whole our life. And why actually I personally sure that robots and algorithms never replace humans, because we are able to study much more faster and much more effective than any kind of technology. For example, for NeuroWeb, it is needed to be viewed more than 5,000 pictures to make a clear classification between different species. And for children, age 5-8 years, it is needed to be shown only 10 or 20 pictures to make a differentiation between, for example, fish and rabbits, and so on. So we are studying and learning much more faster, but because of technology development, we have to do it all our life. And goes further, discrimination and passive users. I'm sure that all of you heard about discrimination provoked about artificial intelligence, and many cases, many examples you may find with this. And passive users, you know, we live in such interesting times when things around us becomes much more clever than humans. And it was a funny story when one worker was waiting on the office, and he was sure that printer was broken, but actually the problem was that it was needed to change, to put new paper to the printer just to start this working process again. And passive user problems means that often people not motivated to find a solution for different problems, even when they are able to solve this problem. And goes forward, please. Ethics and law problems, we will, of course, discuss it today. And first argument needed to be protecting human rights and social guarantees. I don't know if you have heard about social credit system in China. If you didn't hear about it, I highly recommend you to find such kind of information, because, for example, if you wasn't be attentive on the road, you wouldn't be able to buy tickets for the flights and so on. And some kind of digital dictatorship we may find in current world close to us for now. Another treat, it's infringement and intellectual property. And we will speak about ChatGPT And you know, it's really useful instrument, it's a really useful tool for different tasks, but together with this, together with the ability to create image, to create text and so on, we need to remember and understand that this narrow web, these instruments were taught on the basis of product of another people. So some artists created pictures, some writers created text, and now this artificial intelligence just combine different parts and we may use it. And actually, the question of perspective of creativity arises like a huge question for our future.
Olena, sorry, I have to interrupt you because we see some points repeating itself, and I would suggest we come back all together to discuss separate points in a question session, because we also have one expert waiting for us online. If we could jump to her presentation, to Katarina, and then after her we're gonna start the question session. We're gonna come back to workplace displacement, intransparency, black box, and human rights infringements, and so on. And then we're gonna have discussion. I think it's gonna be more interesting. Thanks for the presentation.
Thank you.
Hello, Katarina. Same question to, we don't hear you.
You can't.
Yeah, now it's good. Same question to you, please.
Okay.
Introduce yourself and briefly about what you do, and then we're gonna jump directly to discussion.
Okay. First of all, I will start with saying thank you very much. First, not only for inviting
Recording
me
in
to this fantastic
progress.
panel, but that you guys for organizing such interesting conference. Unfortunately, I couldn't join you in person. I actually came back yesterday evening from Poland, and maybe some of you, especially from Central and Eastern Europe, knows a company called Komar sitting in Krakow. We had a great conference related to Komar user group, and actually the most important topic was artificial intelligence. So I have a little bit different background than majority of you. I'm a lawyer. I am attorney at law admitted in Poland and in Switzerland. The name of my law firm you can see in the background of the video streaming. I am also president of something what is called Swiss-Polish Blockchain Association. We do many events related to new technologies, not only blockchain, but artificial intelligence as well. Last time on our Warsaw Symposium, we had Olga Feldmayer speaking about challenges relating to Ukrainian war in the light of transferring virtual assets. So you all said what you think, where the way with artificial intelligence and new technologies will go. And some of you consult in that area. We had Olena as a philosopher saying what she is afraid about. And now you imagine my situation when everybody is coming to my desk and they want to do several things which may include use of artificial intelligence or any other technology, speed, quantum computing, and so forth. So I need to tell those people what is legal, what is illegal, what is bad enough, and what is worse, what is not regulated. And then we don't know what to do, basically. So in my short introduction, I will tell you a few issues where we see legal issues. Some of them have been mentioned shortly, but they are definitely issues which we need to somehow address. As you may know, some of you know, ChatGPT has been prohibited in Italy. Yesterday, European Union was voting on further fate related to artificial intelligence regulation. It was a huge debate, shall facial recognition for the purposes of artificial intelligence be allowed or not. As for yesterday, it went somehow smoothly that it's not so apparent, but let's see what will happen because it was only discussion between committees. So we don't know the way where it will go. And we somewhere as a lawyers, and this is almost always the case, that the law is always behind the technology. This is why we have different approaches over the globally even. Let's say Switzerland has kind of solid approach, also this one which applies to cryptocurrencies and blockchain or crypto virtual assets, saying substance over the form, whatever the economic function of certain asset is, this is the regulations which we will apply. If it's a share, it will be a share. If it's a bond, this is a bond. If it's a utility token, the Swiss financial regulator actually doesn't care. And as for now, we have similar situation in relation to artificial intelligence, but I wouldn't say this is for sure so, because I think it's still no point or no fixed approach where it will go. But I think globally, we have very different legal issues, which you developing a business or advising your clients, you have to know and you probably sense them. First one is data protection of personal data. All of results and everything what ChatGPT is telling us, and we don't know exactly where from ChatGPT has the data, there are certain personal data which are used. The more data is in the space, the more data can be evaluated. Perhaps the more accurate will be the results. We don't know it. But for sure, data protection is definitely one issue which really need to think how to approach it. Second one, ownership of data is also something what we keep debating. If I was there and asked you who you think own personal data, do you think part of a person sitting in the first row that do you own your data? You may tell me, yes, I own my data, or you tell me, I don't. Usually the answer from somebody who is not legally trained will be, yes, the data which are in the internet, my name and everything belongs to me, but is actually not true. The data belongs to the creator of database. Your data are your characteristic, your rights, you may defend or not, but it's not true. You actually, what is not clear, we are not clear whether we own our data. So we need to definitely find a way how to regulate this issue. Then we have another issue related to the responsibility, and this responsibility for fake news, fake pictures, so far and so on. And also very, let's say, not maybe such a media-related example, like the picture of Trump being carried out from his home, seemingly having been arrested. But such stuff, when we have a navigation system in car which use certain data and keeps going in the tree or in the building instead of a road, then we need to figure out who is responsible. And now you need to see the clash between data protection issues and artificial intelligence, because we have this requirement that our data have to be anonymized, deleted, and so far and so on. So if we keep having having problems with our, let's say, this Navi system, we are not able to find out where and why the mistake has happened. So it's another problem which we have. Another very interesting issue is copyright. Copyright, the word came to continental Europe from the US, where US was saying, if I am author of a work, not even if I'm author, but if a creation belongs to me, whoever wants to copy needs to ask me for my permission, and I may require the person to pay. In Europe, we call copyrights a bit differently. We call it authorship rights, meaning there must be a human being having creative thought in order to say, I'm the author, I have the authorship rights on the work. Not such case in, let's say, ChatGPT. My husband and me, we have funny game every evening when after the day is done, we try to be romantic to each other and we keep writing poems for each other, but not writing with a pen, but asking ChatGPT, write me a poem for my husband. So ChatGPT writes every night different nice poem. But it's definitely not my right. And who will be, I don't know. What will happen if I publish it? I probably will, as a lawyer, say nothing will happen. I may publish it because there is no person, no author behind it. unless it will come up that it will be a very intelligent person able to write many different poems within a few seconds. But I don't believe this is the case. So it's totally algorithm-based work. We have another issue related to criminal liability for abating to a crime. What will happen if you ask ChatGPT how I can kill my neighbors? The answer you will get, I cannot advise you now because this is ChatGPT, but we may have different algorithms which will obviously advise you how to do it. And then many other legal things where we have totally automated answers, something related to digital finance. What will happen with these unbanked people? Will they have access to financial services? Can they legally claim that they may have access to financial services when screening and everything only will be based on artificial intelligence? So many legal issues, no answers right now. We don't know what will be the approach. We see what is happening in European Union. I think other countries will follow. We somewhere, let's see how it will develop. At the end, maybe of my presentation here is just that there is a lot of enthusiasm about the technology, a lot of people are scared, definitely, but I think we all would agree that technology is neither good nor bad. It's just about us people, how we use it. And with this sentence, I'm done with my first remark. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Katarina.
No.
Legal angle on the topic. I really don't know where we should start our discussion. I suggest anyways we do it dynamically, like a ping pong and so on. Let's jump in. Probably the most discussed topic was the workplace displacement. So Olena brought the example about automation that was forecasted that a lot of jobs will disappear, and they didn't. And is it going to happen with AI or not? Will we generate new jobs and so on? What's your take on that specific topic?
Thank you. As for my opinion, it's impossible to replace human from jobs totally. Of course, a lot of different processes will be automated, and we may see how it happens now with copywriters, with artists. And I need to say about myself, I was preparing an article to online journal, and usually I need some thematic picture to illustrate the main points, and usually I ask my friends, designers who create such kind of images, but this time it was a short deadline and I need to do this really quickly, and of course you may imagine that I use DALL-E for this task, and it works, and of course it will happen, but many jobs combined with creativity, with improvisation, with intuition couldn't be replacement for my vision. And you know, this tendency to rationality, to automatization could be harmful too. It was a great problem on Amazon when workers at Amazon have equipment and receive direct instructions what they should do such a particular moment, and then these workers had really great mental and psychological problems, and it was huge scandal in this sphere. So for my vision, total replacement is impossible.
Carsten?
Yeah, my take, I think if you structure it in the past, now and future, I think in the past it's correct. We have not seen that jobs massively in some goes away, but I think it's not a net sum zero game. So the point is actually some jobs was replaced in the past, but there was new jobs coming through. So, and I think right now, it's at the moment with AI, what we have at the moment, it's basically the same thing. Because I think it's like, if I would give an advice to my daughter, is like, you need to learn data science regardless what you do, because it will be something, you will have a co-pilot in medicine or whatever to analyze the cancer. So you need to enhance, like in the past with the computer, people who had computer experience need to have computer experience regardless what they're doing. And I think that's the same with AI now. I think you have to know, also with this ChatGPT, it's partly also a dangerous tool if you don't know exactly how it works. So that is only takes past data, protects the next word, then it's a dangerous tool if you don't know that. And in the future, I have to say, I don't know. So it could be totally that everything is disrupted. So I don't say that it's in the near future. I personally don't believe that. But I don't think that anyone right now can make a proof on saying, nothing can be more intelligent than a human. Why?
I was really surprised by the statement from you, Elena, that the AI is learning actually quite slower than the human. It's counterintuitive because of the performance of the systems. But the keyword Copilot, I just heard it. Question to you guys from IT companies. Scripters, developers, will they be replaced?
Igor, you start first.
Well, so at some areas definitely, but again, if we will look at this from society perspective, so our role as a society to develop and create something new, create value, and that's the same for developers as well. So it's not so we're not a different, let's say, species. So there is areas where we can create something new, and there is the areas where already everything is created. So if this is some usual job which is clear, understandable, and could be improved and could be replaced at some stage with a, let's say, already known process and the machine which, let's say, does it pretty much standard, then yes. And then this, let's say, these developers can be used in the other spheres, let's say, creating the new AIs or do something else. And especially in our professional community, so this is, I would say, from my consideration, it's good as soon as, so it pushes you to develop yourself and push you to learn something new and create something new. So this is just evolution and the professional evolution as well.
Yeah, thank you. This is a very good question, and yeah, so AI, there are different AIs. Yeah, so we can speak about the computer vision, generative AI, but right now we're speaking mostly about generative AI. So I think the main danger is for people who generate something. Yeah, so content creators. Yeah, so developers, they actually also like content creators in some way. Yeah, because they're writing code, architectures, and I think it all goes towards the developers just mainly turn into the kind of architects, they're setting up in the factories there used to be people who doing something manually and then they was replaced by machines. So the same will happen. I mean, already happening slowly in the world of code development. So when there will be not one tech lead and 10 developers, yeah, for instance, it will be one tech lead and 1-2 developer, yeah, who adjust everything and use generative AI. But the main problem is still not there. So, I mean, the main problem in the code, one of the main problems in the development of software is kind of requirements, what to develop. And we're still not very good at that, yeah, because people coming to companies like us and they say hey, we want to develop kind of Facebook, yeah. How much it does cost? And you're can you be more specific about it? No, I want to develop Facebook, yeah. And the same problem if you go to ChatGPT and ask something like this to him, he will not give you a code of Facebook, yeah. So it's impossible. So you need to be more specific. That's why I think the way of changing how we approach software development definitely will be from requirements first perspective. Because if we can handle normal requirements to explain whatever AI what we want, so in this case we can optimize the development.
So there's still, you think there's still going to be human factor into this understanding the bridge between requirement and technology implementation?
Yeah, I think definitely. I think what AI definitely lacks, this is the kind of imagination, this creative imagination, problem-solving, approach. When you understand, okay, well, let's approach this like this or like this, because, coming to you, guy, I say, I want a Facebook, like, what do you do next? You do next, So probably, I will learn how to adjust and what to ask him, but somewhere in the future. Anyway, we need someone to control this.
But maybe it's also, if you very simply look at ChatGPT, the interface ChatGPT have with the world is very limited. It's just text. And I think it's incredibly slow. Also, if, for example, we're watching here, we're seeing all the information, we're listening. So the amount of data we digesting in this moment is kind of 10,000 multiplied with just text we give to ChatGPT. So ChatGPT interface with the internet is very big bandwidth. So they process a lot of data in the internet, a huge amount of data. But the interface we have with ChatGPT as humans is very limited. So I can't imagine how you can do very, very complex things like building an application which is very complex for a company in this limited interface. Even we know all the specification of a software, it's very hard to put everything inside. So I think it's not because maybe ChatGPT would be able to do it, but how we deliver the information to ChatGPT, I think it's our fault.
That's what I think. I think that the future right now and the big trend is, let's imagine like we have a blockchain, so and people building something on top of the blockchain, so the same we have like, whatever general level of AI. Let's say we will have also layer of AI. We will have like something like in blockchain, layer 1, layer 2, layer 34. So, and the same we will have in AI. So for instance, Google, OpenAI, and some other companies, they have layer 1 AIs, and then we, remodel those models, adjust these models to our needs, and develop software on top of it. Because you need the interface, like how to interact with AI. People still, we're all humans, we see this chat and we're like, what to ask? Like,
So how to fix AI is with another layer of AI, apparently.
Again, like user interface. You need to give like the proper ability to, interact. It's the same if I ask you, like, I put you, so Steve Jobs is here. What do you ask him, like?
He's dead.
What do you mean?
I think he's dead, right? Yeah.
I don't know, we should ask ChatGPT, but anyway, so, okay, let it be. So, what you would ask him, like, the same question, I'm sitting like next to ChatGPT, like, what should I ask? Like, oh my gosh, I can ask whatever I want, like, so we need more interfaces to simplify that process, communication between AI and humans, so I think this is a big trend, definitely.
I would like to go back. Thanks for that. Thanks, Carsten, as well. I would like to go back to data protection, maybe a bit of legal aspect. And my take on that is that nowadays we have some regulation already about data privacy, like GDPR, and we give some consents about cookies, about this and that. Isn't it just simply possible to implement something like this for AI, not to grab the data, not to generate anything based on my data or something like this? It seems technically quite simple for me.
You engineer.
Yep, I think we are addressing just the same challenge with the data regulation. Just again, it's just another step which needs to be, let's say, taken into consideration. So just AI, I would say, a little bit faster rather than a simple, let's say, technology. Kind of, I would say, usual, examples of different other applications which we saw before, and we just need to make another, let's say, layer of regulation. So, this could be addressed. So I think now it's already an open question, and so there are some steps which are taken. So I'm pretty sure this could be addressed, and this is actually required, so to be done.
For my view, I think before it was said, and maybe it's an interesting discussion point. What is the copyright of what basically ChatGPT produces, right? And then everybody first says, okay, cannot be, you know, just reading a lot of books, ChatGPT, and then distillate something out of it, and that's, you know, stealing from the humans or whatever. You know, honestly speaking, to fight for the AI here in this case, you know, if I would write a book about, you know, getting fit in 10 days, I just read first all the other books getting fit in 10 days and just make a summary of it. So all the human writers do essentially, in many cases, the same. Sometimes not. Sometimes they're sitting on the beach drinking a lot of stuff and then they're coming up with a new book. But and often they just summarize something. And as I understand, copyright is very easy. If you don't kind of like really copy it, then it's not protected. So,
I think maybe communism might work here. You know, if we kind of not privatize, but you know, the government takes the AI, say, hey, like it belongs to everyone. Like so, the copyright, like right now, belongs to everyone.
That's interesting idea. I know Katarina has something to say on this topic for sure.
Definitely. I'm not sure. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. The issue in relation to data protection and how to regulate it, it's not as easy as we can think, because it's also similar issue in relation to decentralized finance. Current regulations always relate to central party being responsible for something. And in case of AI and data which are evaluated from many different sources and by algorithm, it's not easy to regulate the issue of data protection. We would have to know who is the one who is controlling the whole system if we want to apply the current regulations in place, like GDPR and the others. They're very centristic. And this is why it will be a challenge, because otherwise it would be like kind of lump legislation saying whoever is issuing the software is responsible for data protection. And I'm not quite sure that the one who will be issuing the algorithm, the software, will be very happy about it. So, but if there is a real control over if the person is really in control of data, if the issuer is the one who is deciding about on purpose how to use data, it might be then liable, and this is the one who needs to make sure the data protection and the personal rights are protected. That's one thing. There was an issue of statement about copyright. As mentioned, yes, if somebody is not copying, is not liable, but if it's copying, is liable. But there is another layer to it. We need to know whose authorship's rights are really in question, because as I mentioned in my introduction remarks, we need to have an author, we need to have a human being which created the work. And if we have software which is created, or work which is created by software or algorithm only, we may justly ask question, is the content copyright relevant at all? And I know many of open source community and many new artists would say, yeah, we can copy this as much as we wish. Still not answered. If we don't have an author, we don't have subject, we don't have the person who owns the rights actually.
Yeah, Max, your comment?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's like, I mean, couple layers of you know, data. We're saying, you know, if the AI is trained on the open source data, yeah, so I think there's no problem. If you start to give him your own data and it's training on your some personal data, it becomes a problem. So they definitely will, I mean, figure out it somehow very soon when you can, you know, define whether you want your data to be saved or be a part of the model or not. Otherwise.
Exactly. This is what I meant with the checkbox, kind of consent for public.
Yeah, I mean, so I think
like
it might
that.
be like pretty, I mean, solved pretty soon or not, depending on the country.
Cool. We see a lot of new answers, a lot of area to discuss about the threats and advantages of AI. Unfortunately, we have some time pressure. I mean, the whole conference could be dedicated to AI. I would take final question, and then we're gonna close about the singularity. Are we close to the singularity? The AI replicating itself, overpowering humans, So is it even possible technically? So Olena is ready.
Yeah, I like this question. Thank you very much. This famous concept of singularity, John von Neumann created it, and it means that someday machines become much more smarter than humans, and then we will find ourselves or in the zoo or wouldn't find ourselves. And as Stephen Hawking told about it, that when artificial intelligence will be able for goal settings, the story of humanity will be over. But let me repeat, please, that my colleagues who create algorithms for artificial intelligence absolutely sure that it will never happen if we will continue to create not artificial but augmented intelligence, and will keep ability for decision making only for humans. I hope it will never happen.
Yeah,
I'm always wondering why we as humans always think that AI would make a decision to kill us. I mean, why it's the first something which always goes to discussion. Why? I mean, there could be other answer to this.
Yeah, we all seen Matrix. So they need us for the electricity at least. Yeah.
Excuse me, I mentioned anthropomorphism. We always evaluate another one as our own nature. That's the reason.
Good answer. Yeah. Yeah, but from my perspective, we should definitely, as humans, keep control of that situation. That's important, and we should make, let's say, I would say the concept of that AI helps a human. I like more than AI goes wild. So I suppose we should make careful steps and look into some measurements how to make this situation in control and to follow this concept. But overall, so these technology evolutions, we see them not the first time. So I think we should take more AI as a possibility rather than a danger, and finally find out the concept where it would work.
But what if it gains conscious and feels exploited?
Maybe a little bit, but so let's try to find the solution.
Okay. Max, Karsten?
Yeah, I think AI is, I mean, in this way, AI would be definitely smarter than human. You know, when you're speaking with ChatGPT, you notice how, like, you know, generalistic answers he might give you, because like he's not limited in his, like, you know, like in its specific view on things. Yeah, so AI able to check all the information from the human history. So, and I don't think he's able to find any reason for, I mean, crime or something, yeah, or any danger. It's just non-logical, yeah, and I think so. But again, so singularity, I don't think it might happen, you know, but we definitely need to proceed some steps towards it, yeah, to prevent from some, I mean, absolute chaos. Yeah, we definitely need governments to, I mean, control it somehow. So. And I don't know, I think it's a good idea to, if you publish any kind of product with AI, you need to get some compliance or something. Yeah, I mean, if it's in this space. But the singularity, I just don't see that future. I mean, I don't see the logic for you know, for robots just to, I mean, destroy all the people. I mean, this.
So no from your side.
I mean, definitely not. Definitely, we will see some. I bet for our interplanet future of the, and I hope AI will help us to achieve that really fast.
Great. Final comment, Karsten?
Yeah, I think current AI, how we have it at the moment, is in terms of singularity, very stupid. So, like, you know, you said that, and I think it's specific AI is superhuman. Also, detecting a cat on a picture, AI can better than as a human. But, and you raised it before, I think it's a very important point. If you compare it really fair, the computer uses kind of 10 terawatt on energy. The human uses 60 watt with his brain. The human needs 10 cats. The computer needs 10 million cats. Not 10 million, but 10,000. So basically, at the moment, the computer is far away from my point of view, from the singularity. Far, far away. Like it's not even. And if you look on neuroscience, we don't understand the brain really, also how it really works. As we talk about neurons, but we don't really know how it works. And the philosophical things, what is basically consciousness? We cannot even define it exactly. So we have no really clue how our own intelligence works, and we have no computer science tools to do it. We have just some very cool, specific tools we have, but not the overall thing. But so there, I'm very kind of pessimistic at the moment. Just a bit more computer power, everything is good, and we have singularity or bad. I don't believe in that. But on the other side, why there should be not something more smart than we? Come on, guys. Also, we are not. Why should be a similar limitation? Like, okay, there's cockroaches, foxes, and humans, and that's the the limit of everything. No, it's not. So I think it should be possible to create something which is more smart than humans, and it could be 1,000 times more smart than humans, so that not even these kind of thingies which are created think about it. And there's a very strong argument, as I found it very interesting, maybe it's just to say that why, so the argument why a super smart species kills us is not that it wants to kill us, it's just it's have another plan, and on the side it just kills us. And that's the way how we kill animals. Right? So basically, we don't want to kill thousands of animals, but we just do it because we have some other stuff to do. So that's a big risk we have if, the singularity moment comes.
Very interesting. Yeah. Did you watch, by the way, Marvel Infinity Wars, like Avengers, a movie? Yeah, it's a very interesting question. When there is a scenario that Thanos, the main antagonist, he making like this, and 50% of all the alive creatures in the universe.
He does it with the ring, not with the AI.
Yeah, he does it, but why he didn't add it so he could do whatever he wants with this, Blink, yeah, and he removes 50% of the creatures to have enough food for the rest. 50%. Why he didn't create 2 times more food for everyone? Yeah, and what AI would do in his place, AI would add more food for people if he has one chance to do something, or remove 50% of people. Yeah. So what will be the decision? So
I don't know. I would like to.
Excuse me. In this case,
yeah.
if
Okay.
I may,
Very final comment.
Few words, just few words. I think that we may find a more clever solution for food problem, not kill people and not produce more, just more clever management for food distribution and infrastructure in this case, because a lot of food just wasted, just not consumed, and AI could help us with this. Thank you.
Thank you, Elena. I thought the final point is going to be philosophical, but it ended up to be sustainably aware. With that, I thank you all. It just kills me how many topics we didn't discuss, but we have really time pressure. Thank you all for that. Thanks to the guest. It's enormously big topic. It's definitely our future, but how it's going to come out depends on us all. Thanks to you, to the expert, Katarina. Thanks. Thank you so much online. And hopefully see you in the future with AI or not. Let's see.